Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all acknowledgement, honor, glory, and praises unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Harachan HaKodash, Yahweh being the Heavenly Father, who the world will ignorantly call God, and Yahushai being the Heavenly Father's Son, who we do worship and wait upon, who the world will ignorantly call Jesus, but his true name in Hebrew is Yahushai, which means he is the deliverer. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that have taught us this truth. And salutations, Wa Rab Ahab, which means much love to the hopeful elect. Men that sincerely pushing this truth day in and day out to please Yahweh Shema Shai by feeding his flock. Unto you, Shalom, Shalom. Now I wanted to go into a topic, dealing off an experience that I had during last week, Tuesday. There was this random Edomite that came up to me. He was talking to me about something. So I kind of humbled down and listened to what this devil had to say. And he brought up this band. And they had a song. And when I asked him, the spirit was on me. I was like, what is the Greek word of that song? And it says, he showed me it. And it was se ves pacem parabellum, which means if you want peace, prepare for war. And I was like, wow, that's the spirit. It was warning me like, hey, World War III is about to take place. All right, we know that the RFID microchip has to come first. But, there's secret wars out there that the news is not covering. Because people, they don't want to scare the masses. All right, people are already terrified of the year of 2020. They can't take any more bad news. All right, so this is the song he showed me. And I was like, why is this Edomite showing me this? It says a Metallica song, Don't Tread on Me. And it says the album Black. And then it says it features the line, to secure peace, to prepare for war. All right, so for the kingdom of the Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans to come, there has to be war. And Yahweh Shema Shai is preparing these nations for war so that peace could come after all the pain and suffering this one last time in the flesh. All right, no more time in the flesh. We're going to suffer like this. For peace. And it's going to be given unto the faithful that believed in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. All right, that endured that suffering. Because it says, he that endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Now, I'm going to get a first scripture. So usually if you see a video of mine, I usually trim those little, tedious delays. So Ecclesiasticus 3:1, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. So everything that's taking place in a certain sequence is all for a due time to the works of Yahweh Shema Shai. All right, and World War III is a season that was meant for Yahweh Shema Shai's return. Yahweh Shai's return. All right, that's when we would know a big indicator that the Lord will come back. A time to be born. So a time the Lord sends the spirit down, and a time to die. The time the Lord calls the spirit back up. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down, and a time to build. And the Lord deals in balance. He'll say kill, then heal, bring alive, wound. That's how the Lord operates. So there's going to be pure hell coming to America, and then there's going to be pure peace for the Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. A time to weep and a time to laugh. So there's going to be a lot of crying, a lot of pain, but the kingdom is going to be where we laugh, you know? But on a worldly sense, the world is mourning right now. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to get and a time to lose. A time to keep and a time to cast away. A time to rend and a time to sue. A time to keep and a time to speak. A time to love. So this whole period before 2020, really, it was a whole love mash circle of love and peace, and let's make bills and legislations, and let's make treaties and passing bills and shit like that. Now it says a time to hate, and we in those times. Yahushua warned that people are gonna the love of many is gonna wax cold. So people are gonna be evil eye towards each other on another level. All right, a time of war and a time of peace. All right, there's gonna be a World War III, but there is a war going on that a lot of you Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans overlook. It's the war between Esau and Jacob. All right, Esau, the so-called white man, the so-called white race, and you so-called Negroes, so-called black, so-called Hispanics, so-called brown people. Yeah, there's a war between y'all, all right? And Esau always been waging war. So there's a time of war and a time of peace. So World War III has to take place before the peace comes. All right? That war has to come. And Yahushua is going to make his return in World War III. In a time of peace. And that's what we look for. Hey, we look for the peace to come when Yahushua returns. You know, Lord willing, we be those men. But here we go, you know. World War III tension is at a high right now. The U.S. intelligence agencies have another bounty case in Afghanistan, alleging Iran paid the Taliban to attack American forces. So first, America is blaming Russia. But if you really think about it, America, you, aka Babylon, you have way too much enemies. You're not beloved by everybody. All right, you're hated by many. And a lot of your allies are breaking treaties and turning sides. It turns out Russia isn't the only country that U.S. intelligence agencies are anonymously accusing of paying bounties to Taliban fighters to attack U.S. troops in Afghanistan. Another boogeyman, Iran, is allegedly to blame this time. So you see, this devil said that he was going to take home the troops. But really, they eyeing Iran. They eyeing the resources, because Esau is a covetous man of these nations. All right, the oil, all right, the drugs, all right, and so forth. A foreign government paid bounties to the Taliban affiliated Haqqani network for an attack last December on Bagram air base that killed 2 civilians and injured more than 70 other people, including 4 U.S. troops. CNN reported Monday, citing a Pentagon briefing document. The media outlet said 2 sources familiar with the intelligence identified Iran as the country behind the bounties. So they're going to demonize Iran, and then ultimately there's going to be an attack on American soil to boost the ego of the rest of these jarhead Americans to go to war, all right? And they're going to be very motivated. CNN gave no indication of the evidence on which U.S. intelligence official based their findings because it's all lies. It's make-believe. They really want to, destroy Iran because Iran is the last, rebellious nation in that area. And the Islamic State, of course, but mainly Iran. Explicit evidence still hasn't been provided for anonymous allegations that Russia had paid the Taliban to kill U.S. soldiers, which the New York Times reported in June. So President Donald Trump has called the accusation against Russia unverified and said that they were never deemed solid enough to brief him on the matter. And America is scared of Russia. Let's be honest. They're very scared of Russia because Russia could match America or even surpass them in supersonic missiles, nuclear missiles, and technology wise, because they're Edomites, all right? Enough to brief him on the matter, while Trump hasn't punished Russia for the unverified allegations. It says, much to the chagrin, can't say that word, Slovakia, of CNN and other mainstream media outlets, the Iran case had apparently had consequences. Iran ties to the Taliban were used as part of the justification for the U.S. drone strike that killed top Iranian general Slovakia. Qasim? I forgot this dude's name. Qasim Soleimani. How you pronounce that? Qasim Soleimani in January. CNN said, citing an anonymous administration official. But the U.S. avoided publicly condemning Iran for the Bagram attack and didn't pursue a direct military or diplomatic response because such actions could undermine peace talks with the Taliban and make it tougher for Trump to fulfill his campaign promise of ending the war in Afghanistan. All right, they're never going to end wars because they're Edomites. All right, they were created to do these things. All right, that's their blessing. They're always going to use their blessing to the day they die. All right, the next scripture I'm going to get, because as you can see, World War III is coming on the stage. All right, it's part of prophecies. And Yahushua, he talked about these things as an indicator for his disciples to recognize the times so we could get ourselves in order. All right. Matthew 24:1. And Yahushua went out and departed from the temple, and the disciples came to him for to show him the building of the temple. And Yahushua said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be overthrown. And as I sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? So they wanted to know what he meant by that, because Yahushua is coming to destroy. All right? He's coming to destroy the land of the wicked and wherever the so-called white man dwell. All right? And a lot of these countries, especially Israel, going to get nuked. All right? Russia's going to get nuked. And I believe a part of China is going to get nuked. And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. All right? There's a lot of deception going on because people are vulnerable right now. And Yahushua warned about that. All right? Especially with all these things going on, people are so gullible. There's going to be a lot of seducing spirits. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ. A Mashiach, the Messiah, the anointed. And shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. So how do we hear these rumors? Through newspapers, internet, TV, the physical Salaki, I lost train of thought. Rumors of wars. See that he be not troubled. So we're not caught off guard or fearful. For all these things must come to pass. They must happen. They're prophecies. But the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation. All right? Those that are ruling, that have established themselves in the so-called white man's kingdom, are going to go against each other. All right? You got China against Japan. You got India against China, Taiwan. All right? That's nation against nation. And kingdom against kingdom. The superpowers are going to be against each other. All right? The Persian and the Medes are going to be against Babylon, aka America. Just all over again, like ancient times. And there shall be famines with an S, and pestilences. So there's already a shortage of food here in America. But around the world, there is famines. And pestilences. The plagues are coming. Earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. So all these are the beginning of the wrath of Yahweh Shemel Shai upon the earth. But mainly towards America. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted and kill you, because who's going to get blamed for all of these things coming to pass? The prophets. And ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake, because then people are going to know that they mistreated the prophets, so they have no other choice, because they're going to be condemned to persecute and kill the prophets. Because we ain't going to want no reconciliation with any of you people or the nations. They're not going to like what we say, and they're not going to like what our Lord is coming back to do to their ass. And we're going to tell them, Lord willing, Revelations 11 and 14. And the second woe is past. So World War II was already prophesied in these scriptures, and it took place, showing you that these words in the book, of Yahweh Shemel Shai, these scriptures, they really come into life. They're real. And the world is going to witness, they're going to witness the reality of these scriptures. And behold, the third woe coming quickly. World War III. That's why even if you, Salakia, just go right here, you type in World War III, and it's already has a Wikipedia page. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, there it is. Showing you the elites know. All right. The elites know that the Lord is coming back. And they're really trying to defer the plans of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. What do you expect from a brute beast? Isaiah 34:1. Come near, ye nations. So the Lord is calling these nations. All right, the Father of all spirits. When he calls you, you come. So all these nations are going to assemble. Come near, ye nations, to hear and hearken, ye people. So people are going to know about these prophecies. They already know it, but this truth is going to flourish, all right, to these nations. Let the earth hear and all that is therein. All right, that means the prophets are going to prophesy. Remember, the gospel going to reach the ends of the earth, the four corners of the earth, and then shall the end come, right? See, the world and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai, the righteous anger, is upon all nations. Because what? Ultimately, all these nations are guilty of affiliation with the crimes against Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. They're affiliated, just like if a man commits a crime and you assisted or you knew about it, you're going to get indicted, right? And these nations, Esau has given them the cup to drink. So they're filthy. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations. So he's not happy with none of these nations, because none of them live in righteousness. And his fury upon all their armies. So the Lord is calling what? Military. World War III. He had utterly destroyed them. Not just destroy, utterly. Meaning completely took their life out of all their armies. Right? It's just going to be bodies when the Lord comes back and laser beams them. And he had delivered them to the slaughter. So the Lord is a strategic warrior. All right? He's going to bring out all the mighty men to battle. And then he's going to come and show all of them that he's the mightiest of them all. Put together. And their stink also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. So that's a lot of killing. All right, that sound like a stone killer. Hey, the Lord's coming to kill, man. There ain't no joke about it. The Lord's coming to kill. And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved. And what can make the host of heaven be dissolved? It's going to tell you. And the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. That's a thermonuclear bomb. Right? A hypersonic missile could do that too. But the Lord is going to have, in this World War III, nuclear missiles being used. Right? Esau does not make guns. He does not use them. He uses them. All right? Same for nuclear weapons. They have to be tested. All right, to be considered a nuclear weapon that could work. And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. So the same thing that happened to Brixus, Lebanon, is going to happen to America and certain regions wherever the so-called white man dwell. All right, because Russia is going to get hit, and few other Edomite dwelling, spots. And all their hosts shall fall down as the leaf falleth from the vine. You ever see a leaf fall from a tree? It just takes a little shake of the wind. It's going to be that breezy, easy for the Lord. And as a fallen fig from the fig tree, for my sword, the Lord's weapon, which are his chariots, and in his chariots there comes out concentrated fire, shall be bathed in heaven. So he's going to make work of all these nations with his chariots. And he's going to turn a lot of them into dust and dead carcasses. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea. And you know how the Lord just pointed one nation he wanted to bring that full ass whooping to? Idumea, Adawamim, the Edomites, the nation of Edomites, of Esau, Salakia. All right? These red people that are calling themselves white, those people's coming down upon. All right? This kingdom, Babylon, aka America, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. All right? So the so-called white man has been damned to judgment. He's been damned to damnation. All right, first from the Lord's chariot fire, and then the thermonuclear missiles. The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai had a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. Right, like apostle and elders would say, America is one a big sacrifice unto Yahweh Shemel Shai. And what does the Lord do with the fat of the lamb, the ram? He burns it. All right, so this is going to be one big altar of sacrifice to Yahweh Shemel Shai. And the unicorn shall come down with them, and the bullock with the bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood. So that lake of fire is going to be fueled by people's blood. All right? It's going to be a lot of death. And their dust shall be made fat with fatness, for it is the day of the Lord's vengeance. All right? How you treat the Lord and his people and his believers. All right? You're going to persecute the Lord's believers, his heralds. Hey, it says, the day of the Lord's vengeance. He's coming to avenge himself. All right? And his people. The year of recompenses for the controversy. All right? What is the Lord going to destroy America for? For the controversy of Zion. Right? So the Lord is gathering all these nations for World War III. Ultimately, to come back for the governing body. All right, to establish his kingdom. Let me see. I have one more precept. Second Ezra 13, 8 through Second Ezra 13 and 12. So after the Lord destroyed people with his laser beams, it says, afterwards saw I the same man come down from the mountain, and call unto him another peaceable multitude. So the Lord is going to beam up the elect. And there came much people unto him, whereof some were glad, some were sorry, and some of them were bound. So brothers going to be rejoicing. Some brothers going to feel that they ain't even worthy, And some of them were bound. Some brothers going to, be tied up or were captured. And some brought of them that were offered. Then I was sick through great fear, and I waked and said, Thou hast showed thy servant these wonders from the beginning, and hast counted me worthy that thou shouldest receive my prayer. So he saw the destruction before that, and the Lord turning people into smoke and dust. And then the Lord saving his people, because after the Lord handled his business over there in the Middle East, and when he comes back, he coming to America, and he coming to laser beams. He coming to laser beam motherfuckers. All right, Lord coming to kill. He coming to get his in. And then he's going to deliver his men. All right, like I said, some were sorry, some were glad, some were bound. That's going to be the elect getting beamed up before the missiles hit America. All right, but now back to the main topic. If you want peace, prepare for war. Servis pacem, para bellum. But Lord willing, this was edifying. Giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakha, Hakudash. Shalom.